Welcome to the Savings Angel Show. I'm Josh Elledge, the Chief Executive Angel of SavingsAngel.com, podcasting to you from the recovering and yet beautiful city of Orlando, Florida, after Hurricane Irma. It's going to take a lot more to slow us down. Now, I'm an extremely busy consumer expert, money-saving advocate, syndicated newspaper columnist, and the guy that turns digital entrepreneurs into media celebrities over at upandpr.com. I love what I do, and I can't wait to get going on today's episode. Today, I'm going to have how to eat out at restaurants on the cheap, my video interview with Bryan Nadeau from SeaWorld Orlando, and how you can get a great deal on your visit to SeaWorld if you happen to be going over the next few months. And we're going to talk about some of the technological advances for cybersecurity, which is all the rage right now given recent hacking events. So let's get right to saving more, earning more, and living more abundantly. Eating out at restaurants adds up so quickly. It's not just the price of food, it's the tax, and not being a cheap tipper, well, that can really add to the pile on the cost. There's transportation getting in there, but I've got a baker's dozen in tips for how you can eat out at restaurants on the cheap. And listen, if you remember nothing else, remember this: the day of paying full price to eat out at a restaurant are over. It is ridiculously easy to get discounts, especially if you follow my 13 tips. Number 1, sign up for loyalty programs, emails, texts, apps, birthday clubs, and punch cards. Now, restaurants offer some of their best deals and coupons through their loyalty programs and contact lists. Now, some of them put out emails and texts on a weekly basis containing discounts, free offers, and special deal alerts. Now, others are more loyalty-based, and you earn discounts and free food after a certain number of visits or purchases. You can go to swagbucks.com/cashback, and they've got a new app that earns you cash back at numerous local restaurants, even ones that don't normally have coupons or discounts. It's easy. Number 2, know the special offer schedule. Now, restaurants typically follow some kind of special offer schedule, whether it's 99-cent Taco Tuesday or half-off Burgers Thursday. You can save by coordinating your visits to the right day. Number 3, eat out during the week and at home on the weekends. Now, the best restaurant offers are rarely on the weekends. They have them during the week to boost traffic. For example, many offer a select menu with things like 2 can dine or $8.99 weeknight specials. You save 20 to 30% just changing the day you eat out. Number 4, early bird gets the savings. Now, the same goes for when you eat. Lunch menus offer the exact same items in most cases, sometimes in slightly smaller portions, but for much cheaper. And you can often even take advantage of lunch pricing as late as 4 p.m. Now, it might seem a bit early for dinner, but when you're saving, eat early and enjoy dessert later at home. Number 5, kids eat free offers or have kids share an adult meal. Now, kids' meals are rarely cheap anymore. In some places, a kid's meal can cost more than half the price of an adult meal. So I want you to take advantage of kids eat free days or buy one adult meal and have the kids share. That's something that we've done for a long time. Now, some meals come with so much food, they can easily feed 2 to 3 kids. Speaking of that, number 6, share a meal yourself. And if you need to, add a side. Now, if you're eating at a restaurant with generous portions, and let's face it, American restaurants tend to have very generous portions. Okay, this is a large majority of restaurants. Okay, what I want you to do is share a meal. My wife and I commonly do this. Okay? Don't order based on how hungry and possibly cranky you feel when you arrive. Compromise on sharing, and if you need to, add one extra side, which is usually less than $3-4, which is a far cry from $10 for a whole second meal. Number 7, order off the kids or senior menu. Now, there are restaurants that allow anyone to order from their smaller portions menu. Ask if you can, if you're not that hungry. Number 8, Ask if they offer things a la carte or have a secret menu. Now, it's not uncommon for restaurants to have ways to order only one thing rather than the whole meal. For example, Mexican restaurants may sell you just the burrito without the sides of rice, beans, and guacamole for a low a la carte price. Number 9, consider the appetizers. Now, appetizers can sometimes be the absolute best value on a menu. Just inquire about the portion sizes. A large platter of several items might just be $10, but it might be enough to feed 2 people. Number 10, go where they give you bottomless extras. Now, these can be anything from bottomless fries to unlimited breadsticks to all the chips and salsa you can eat. Now, filling up on these freebies lets you order less, especially for the kids, while still ordering enough to warrant all those delicious free biscuits. And again, yes, I know, for those, some of you are like, oh, it's not good for you. I know. This is not a segment on what's good for you. I'm just talking about how to get maximum value at the restaurant. Stick with me. Get off your soapbox. I'm on mine. All right, number 11, find your local coupon books. Now, nearly every area has some kind of coupon book. Now, sometimes they're fundraisers, but more often they're just plain free. Local restaurants advertising them, and they will offer some of their best deals in them. In fact, you can sometimes find coupons for restaurants that otherwise don't offer coupons, not to mention learning about restaurants you might otherwise never have known existed. All right, check the counters of other local businesses or even do a search online to find out what books exist and your area and where to get your hands on one. Very, very simple. Of course, you can always do the Groupon thing too. Always lots of good restaurant deals there. Number 12, don't throw away those mailers. Sure, a lot of what's in them is just junk, but those mailers can contain coupons from national restaurant chains. Comb through them before tossing them into the recycle bin. Then finally, number 13, order to go. Sure, it's technically not eating out, but you can save up to 60% on the tip by just leaving a couple of dollars for the person that helped you with your order rather than the full tip you'd pay dining in. Plus, if you have a picky eater, you can save money by letting them choose from what's already in the house and still dine as a family and still get that delicious restaurant food. Now, speaking of restaurants, one of the ways I love to save is using swag bucks on restaurant gift cards. Now, you can redeem as few as 200 swag bucks to get yourself a restaurant gift card. Now, you can check that out at savingsangel.com/swag bucks. Or just go to our front page at savingsangel.com, scroll down on the right-hand side, just click on the Swag Bucks link right there. And if you do that, an angel gets their wings. That's usually our Savings Angel Di. She's a sweet woman. It could be Savings Angel Jennifer, who edits this podcast. Maybe she gets the angel wings. All right, thank you so much. If you don't have to, but if you do, I say thank you. We use that to take care of our good people that are part of our Savings Angel team. All right, so we're with Bryan Nadeau. Now, Bryan, what do you do here at SeaWorld?
I have the great job of being the Vice President of Operations here at SeaWorld, so this is kind of my office every day.
So the Vice President of Operations, yes? All right, so talk to me about everything that SeaWorld is doing over the next few months, because, for our friends that live here in Florida, we know that as summer starts to wane, the kids go back in school, a lot of times there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can take advantage of if you're a local, and so I want to know what those cool things are that we can take advantage of.
We really focus on our pass members, and actually today kicks off Pass Member Appreciation Month, so all of our pass members get to bring a friend for free during the month. So from September 1st to September 30th, then go on the Pass Member website and register and get a free ticket to bring their friend out to the park. So
nice.
That's one of our big things. We've got a Pass Member picnic coming up in a couple weekends, so all those pass members could come out and enjoy kind of an afternoon in the park and meet some of the leadership team that's here and talk to us about what they think about the park and what they'd like to see in the future. Spooktacular, that's our Halloween celebration.
Yeah.
Starts a little early this year. It's September 23rd.
September 23rd, Spooktacular. We are officially in Halloween season in like 3 weeks.
Right. It keeps getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
I think all these seasons. And then after Spooktacular, we have a couple-week break, and then we have Christmas celebration starts here in November around Thanksgiving time and runs through the end of the year. So the fall is a great time to visit to the park. It's a little cooler temperature.
Yes.
That's a benefit for us locals, but there's always something great to do here at the park.
Now, even though it just turned September today, as everyone when we're recording this interview, it's still a little warm, but the good news about September is kind of our transition month, so it starts to cool down. So I think even if you're out of state and you want to come to SeaWorld, or come to any of the attractions here in Central Florida, this is a really good time of year after the crowds have died down a little bit to take advantage of that. You know, Bryan, one thing I wanted to talk about was that, you know, we've gone to all the parks in the area, and, you know, I get asked the question a lot about the advantage of when does it make sense for someone to become a pass holder? And I'll just editorialize here. I believe, in my experience, again, we've been to all the other parks. I think SeaWorld really sets kind of a high bar in terms of perks for pass members. And you already kind of mentioned that.
Right.
So all of what I've just shared, can you kind of help me understand, you know, when does it make sense to become a pass member?
Really, anytime. I mean, our annual passes are valid for 12 months from the date that they make the purchase, so that's a great advantage for them, so they can enjoy next summer with Infinity Falls and things. But a great point that you make is the value we put on our pass member program. We have a pass member benefit calendar that every month there's something new. It could be a quick queue or a signature show seating on a ride. Even Aquatica is included in some of those promotions or extra discounts on food and merchandise.
Yeah.
And then we put some special things in there. When we opened Kraken Unleashed this year, we did a special preview party for our pass members, and they were one of the first to ride that attraction.
Yeah.
During the entire month of July, they were able to get a free quick queue for that ride. And we do things like celebrating anniversaries. So Mako celebrated 1 year in June, and pass members are also able to do a quick queue on that ride.
Has it already been 1 year? I interviewed Brian Morrow when the roller coaster opened, which best roller coaster hands down in Central Florida is Mako. But there's been a lot of development here, and Kraken just became a virtual roller coaster. You can kind of explain what that is?
Yeah, so Kraken, it was the first roller coaster here in SeaWorld Orlando, and last year we came up with this idea of how do we update Kraken and make it something new and exciting for our guests. So we took virtual reality and worked with a company, and we have a custom-made headset and a custom video that actually brings the guests together, and they have a great adventure along with the Kraken underseas. Journey to Atlantis makes a little cameo in the video there, so it ties that part of the park together. And it's been received very well by our guests. They really enjoyed it, and it brings kind of new life to a coaster that's there. But if virtual reality is not your thing, you can still ride Kraken just like we used to. You just don't have to put the headset on.
Yeah.
So if you just want to ride a Kraken Classic, if you will, you can still do that.
Nice, nice. You mentioned, just real quick, Infinity Falls. What's that?
Yep. So Infinity Falls is coming in 2018. So late spring, early summer 2018, Infinity Falls is going to open. It is our new family river raft adventure. It's going to have a vertical lift on that attraction, so guests will be in a passenger raft. They'll go up 40 feet and then dive down into the pool or into the river. Great family adventure that we're going to have here at the park. It's going to be over in the terrace area here. There's some construction walls up there right now, and it's going to be an amazing ride.
Excellent, excellent. So for someone who just says, well, it's great, you know, we're coming in from out of state, where do they get the best deals for tickets, or maybe multi-day? Like, what special offers would you recommend that visitors coming into Florida would take advantage of?
Right. The best thing to do is check our website at SeaWorld.com, and it's going to have all the best deals. Some advanced purchase promotions are out there, so you'll get a better deal if you buy those things online. But whether it's a pass or a ticket, there's passes that include both SeaWorld Aquatica, Busch Gardens over in Tampa, as well as park tickets that include both parks out there, 14-day unlimited tickets. So depending on how long you're in town, we've really got the best value for you to come visit the park. So the best thing is to visit that website and check out.
And if it's a day like today, can I highly recommend that you plan a stop at Aquatica, because I think that would really help cool. So I cannot believe how warm it is, and it's September.
Right.
But that's what we get in Florida. Well, that's terrific. And of course, Christmas is for people who are planning coming to Florida during Christmas. A lot of festivities at SeaWorld.
We have, I think, the best Christmas presentation here in Central Florida, and our guests absolutely love the event. So from Thanksgiving weekend through the end of December on select days, Christmas celebration here. The park totally transforms with millions of lights, a whole new lineup of shows in the evening. A Wondrous Night is a fan favorite, and almost standing ovations every single show for that thing. So you have to come and check out our Christmas
And one thing I learned is you need to get in that line early. It's very, very popular.
Yes.
Yeah. So great. Bryan Nadeau, you're the, one more time?
Vice President of Operations.
The Vice President of Operations here at SeaWorld here in Orlando, Florida. Bryan, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, before I finish up today, I wanted to talk to you about some of the technological advances in cybersecurity and identity theft. Right? There's been some bad news recently in regards to identity theft, but I want to let you know that technology has been advancing, trying to stay ahead of the thieves, and I wanted to share with you some things that are happening and some tips that can really help you keep yourself just a little bit more protected. I realize just some things are out of our control, but there are a lot of things that you can do. Now, thieves are constantly finding ways to get around the technology intended to protect consumers. But the better news is, when it comes to your identity and your money, new cybersecurity is everywhere to protect you. Now, companies from email to websites to banks stay in the cutting edge of the necessary technology for thwarting thieves' ever-advancing techniques and tricks to steal your money. Let's talk about these. Number one, security codes via text or email, aka two-step verification. I'm sure you've seen the option to do this on some of your social media, on Google. Listen, these add an extra layer of security beyond the normal username and ID or password login. Companies send out a unique code by text message or email as an extra measure to verify your identity. The idea is that someone has to have access to both the correct login information and either physically have your phone in hand or have access to your email to make logging in as you a little bit more difficult. If you have the option for two-step verification, particularly for big accounts, I'm talking like Google or Facebook, the things that you use to verify other accounts with, make sure if it's an option to you, please use two-step verification whenever possible. You'll thank me later. No, actually, you won't thank me later because you'll never know. But that's all right. Take my word for it. Number two, security images. You choose an image or even a series of images to verify your identity. Now, the idea is that someone would have to know your image selections to log in as you. I know Verizon does this for me. There's a security picture, and I know when that security picture comes up, I'm dealing with the right website. Now, plus, you have the ability to tell when you're accessing the correct secure site. Now, this is an important extra layer of protection when copycat sites can look so much like the real deal. Number three, unique computer or device recognition. Now, when you're on a trusted computer or device that's been logged into your account, you skip this step. But when your account is accessed from an untrusted computer or device, or you've cleared your cookies, web page history, and/or cache, extra security measures are triggered, and you're alerted either via text, email, or even right on the screen. What this means is that a criminal would have to have both your login information and be on a trusted computer to avoid further security measures. Next, biometrics. Definitely the most interesting and possibly most secure of all the methods. Now, biometrics uses physical characteristics to identify you. Unique characteristics like your fingerprint, your face, which we just saw with the announcement of Apple's new iPhone with the face scanning technology, and or your voice, an additional layer of security to verify your identity. All right, although this technology has been around for a long time for high security situations, it's beginning to be used for multiple applications. This is great. Now, companies are adding this ability via new mobile device apps, as well as having biometric scanners in physical locations like the fingerprint scanners some banks now use. Next, updated website security. Websites have even beefed up security, and you're now alerted to insecure websites not employing HTTPS. At Savings Angel, we're all HTTPS, by the way. Upendpr.com, yes, we're all HTTPS. Every single page on the site is on that more secure protocol. Now, in particular, we see these on sites that take payment methods of any kind, which of course ours are, including membership sites and online stores. I would start getting a little bit more nervous today if I probably would not. I wouldn't recommend it. If there's a website today and they're asking for your personal information, I'm not talking about billing information. I'm just talking about your personal information, and that's being transmitted over a non-HTTPS site, I wouldn't do it. I'd reach out to them. I'd say, look, get your act together. I'm not going to be entering in my personal information if it's going over just regular HTTP. Right? Next, quick use one-time authentication tokens. Now, some companies, especially banks and other financial institutions, often use this method. Usually sent via text or email, the tokens are only good for a short amount of time, even as little as 30 seconds. Now, in order for someone to log in or access your account, they must have access to the token as well as your normal login information and be able to enter both within the allotted time frame. Now, as cybersecurity continues to grow in importance, watch for even more sophisticated methods and for heightened security in more places than ever before. Now, despite the advanced options, I want to encourage you to not rely on only those to protect your identity and your finances. It isn't enough. I want you to go even beyond the level of identity theft protection offered by banks and included in auto and home insurance policies. Now, although these sources do give some protection, many are not the full identity theft protection you really need for you and your whole family, including children. So many organizations, offices, and businesses store identifying information about your entire family, no matter their age. Thieves especially love to get their hands on the identities of children. This is because their financial lives are rarely monitored, making it easier to steal their identity and have it go unnoticed. With full identity theft protection for your whole family, not only will all financial aspects and identity activity be monitored on all members, full restoration services are generally included. In the event that you're targeted, proper identity theft protection takes over the arduous task of dealing with lost finances, restoring and proving your identity, and more. The very low investment of full identity theft protection is fully worth it. I've been using identity theft solutions for getting close to, I'm going to say 14 years. Basically, as soon as it started becoming available, I was in. And there have been times when I've absolutely have been alerted to things that I immediately was able to take action on. Thankfully, I haven't had a devastating situation happen, but if I do, trust me, I've got so many different services now watching different parts of my life. It's my job as a consumer guy. I want to stay protected for my family. So you should absolutely do your research. There's certainly way more options today for identity theft protection than there was in the past. Now, as I wrap up today, I want to remind you about my on-demand video series. It's called 90 Days to Abundance. Now, this is an entire series of ways that you can save on everything from groceries to utilities to lots more in between. You want to save 50% on your automobile expenses? Yeah, I can show you how to do that. You want to be able to get and stay in hotels for 50% off or more and get upgrades and discounts. Yep, I can show you how to do that. You could pick up this entire Lollapalooza of savings for $29. All that simply does is just cover our hosting and helps pay for Di and Jennifer and Rachel and some of the other wonderful people that help keep Savings Angel going. Simply go to our Savings Angel website, click on the tab Videos to get your ultimate guide to getting upgrades and discounts on everything. Well, if you've loved hearing everything on this podcast, would you take a minute right now and leave a 5-star review in iTunes? By doing so, you, my friend, you help us get this podcast out to more people. The higher our rating, the more we're noticed. And as always, if you have any specific questions or if there's anything you'd like to hear me talk about, you can drop me a comment in the podcast feedback, write me in our Facebook group, or call my podcast hotline at 407-205-9250 and leave me a message. I'll answer your question, write you back, or with your permission, I might even share your question or story with others on the show. A lot of what we do is driven completely based on questions and feedback that we get. So with that, have a wonderful week full of saving more, earning more, and living more abundantly. And thank you for listening. Josh, get it together.